Good evening, everybody. It is Steve Lookner with Agenda Free TV. I hope you can hear me and see me. Can everybody hear me and see me? Because we are once again in the remote studio, not the usual studio, because I'm still in Mexico City. So let's see. Let's see what people in the chat say. Can they hear me and see me? They are saying yes. People are saying yes, they can hear me and see me. So again, I'm not in my normal studio. Hopefully the stream goes okay. Hopefully there are no big technical difficulties. I know it won't look and sound like it normally does, but I apologize in advance for any kind of technical difficulties that happen. Let's hope that it keeps working. Let's just hope that it keeps working, generally speaking. Okay. Thanks everybody for joining us. And we want to bring you an update. I want to bring you an update on the latest from Syria. When we last got, we were covering this last night, but we didn't get to do, we were on for a while yesterday covering the developments in Syria, but we didn't really get to do much aftermath coverage because we were on like for a while, and then the rebels announced we reported that the rebels announced they took control and all that, but there's been some new developments today, and we want to be able to talk about that and to take your comments on the air. You can write to me at Lookner on X is where you can reach me, at Lookner on X. Have the underground prisoners been released yet? No, we'll talk about that. There are some prisoners at a prison near Damascus that the rebels are still trying to get out of there. Hey, Pizzy Papa Zulu, that's really nice of you. Thanks for the gift memberships. I really appreciate that. Shout out to our moderators, Roberts Mayqueen and Ruth Kafasi on YouTube, and Beth Mythical. Thank you. And also Linda Belk and Larry on X. Hold on a second here. Let me pull up something else. Here is... Thanks to our Twitch moderators, A Moment of Lovely and Surly Dev. Oh, thanks Goldmouse65 for subscribing on Twitch, and also Zishi for subscribing on Twitch, and Fish Tacos 1 for subscribing on Twitch. That's really nice of you. Thank you. I also want to thank our Facebook moderators as well. Oh, and thanks so much to Rick D. Rick, that is really nice of you. I really appreciate the gift memberships from Rick D. And Joseph Fiorentino. Wow, that's so nice of you, Joseph. Thank you. It's really nice of you. And Randy, wow. Barely started the program. I really appreciate that. Randy, thanks for the gift memberships. And Grevin Sher. Grevin says, how long until the USA ends up fighting the Free Syrian Army that we trained? I give it 24 months. Thanks, Grevin. I appreciate that. Margaret Riley, Kay Larry Body, Ronald Egnor, moderating over there on Facebook. All right, so let's get into some updates here. Oh, and thanks so much, Ernie, for the gift memberships. Much appreciated, Ernie. Thank you. Let's talk about some updates here. Now, by the way, I got to say, I'm a little disappointed because I did not get a single apology email from anyone who yelled at me in the chat last night when I said we don't know if Assad is on the plane. I got a number of people, many people, yelling at me in capital letters saying, Steve, it's been confirmed. But Steve, it's confirmed. And I got no apology notes today. But I assume that everyone who sent those messages and concluded based on really poor sourcing, concluded based on accounts that are not reliable, I assume that everyone who concluded that has now been chastened, and they don't follow those accounts anymore, and they've become and they've really improved their critical intake of information. So it won't happen again. It's never going to happen again, and that really encourages me. Okay. Chris J said, I didn't say anything, but I'm sorry on their behalf. Anyways, you can see that Russian media, Russian state media said Assad and his family are in Moscow. Russia was a big supporter of Syria, by the way, and of the Assad regime. However, they did not support them Assad that much in the recent offensive by the rebels, and it is widely many analysts say it's because they're dealing with Ukraine, and they are tied up with that. So let's talk a little bit about this. Russian media says Assad has arrived in Moscow. Hey, by the way, thanks so much to Mauricio Corbin. Thanks, Mauricio, for your message, too. I owe you a reply. I will reply. Thank you. I appreciate that, Mauricio. Been out all day. Also, We Are the Change. Thanks for your support for the channel. Okay, so let's check this out. You can see here AP says Syrians poured into the streets in celebration today after a stunning rebel advance reached the capital, ending the Assad family's 50 years of iron rule. By the way, this, by my count, the rebel offensive took 12 days. They really didn't face much of a significant military opposition. Russian state news agencies were reporting that President Assad and his family had arrived in Moscow and were given asylum. Russia said Assad left Syria after negotiations with rebel groups and that he had given instructions to transfer power peacefully. Okay. You may have seen some video of this. Joyful crowds gathered in central squares in Damascus waving the Syrian revolutionary flag. Others ransacked the presidential palace and residence. I don't have the rights to those videos. Well, actually, you know what? I'm going to check Reuters. I might have some videos through Reuters. But I did repost some videos on my X account of people going through the presidential palace and residence. Also, the Iranian embassy in Damascus, I believe, had some damage to it as well. Abu Mohammed al-Golani, a former al-Qaeda commander who cut ties with the group years ago, leads the biggest rebel faction, HTS, in Syria and is poised to chart the country's future. He made his first public appearance since fighters entered the Damascus suburb Saturday at the capital's sprawling Umayyad Mosque and called himself by his given name, Ahmed al-Shara. I have some video clips, too, I might be able to show you, other stuff. I have a video clip of that, I think. He said Assad's fall was a victory to the Islamic nation. The rapidly developing events have shaken the region. Lebanon said it was closing all land border crossings with Syria except for one that links Beirut with Damascus. Jordan closed a border crossing with Syria too. Israel, I mean, there's a whole other thing where Israel conducted a bunch of airstrikes in Syria. We'll have to talk about that. Israel has issued warnings to villages in southern Syria, and its forces seized a buffer zone in the Golan Heights. So we got to talk about that too. Let's see here. Oh, here's just before I get to some comments, really quick, here's something about Israel. Israel military issues warning to residents of 5 villages in southern Syria. That was earlier today. The Israeli military issued a warning to residents of 5 villages and towns in southern Syria to stay inside their homes for their safety. The military didn't respond to questions. Earlier, Israel said its troops had seized a buffer zone in the Golan Heights established in 1974. That was like a zone in between. We'll talk about this a little more later. There's Israel, there's Syria. There's the Golan Heights, which Israel has controlled for decades. But most of the world considers that occupied Syria. So there's Israel, there's the Golan Heights, and then between the Golan Heights and Syria or the rest of Syria, there's this narrow buffer zone, which neither Israel nor Syria is supposed to be in. But Israel actually seized that in the last day. Israel said its troops had seized a buffer zone in the Golan Heights established in 1974, saying it was to protect Israeli residents after Syrian troops abandoned their positions. Defense Minister Israel Katz said on X that the IDF had been instructed to seize the buffer zone and control points to ensure the protection of all Israeli communities in the Golan Heights, Jewish and Druze, so that they are not exposed to threats from the other side. Israel captured the Golan Heights in 1967, in the 1967 Middle East War, and later annexed it. The international community, except for the United States, views it as occupied. So that's a whole other thing we'll have to talk about. Important part of this broadcast is taking some comments from you guys. So let's take some comments from you, and we will get into this. Mort said that happened so quickly. Do you mean Israel seizing the buffer zone, or the rebels taking control of Syria? Well, don't that beat all things? There needs to be a buffer zone for the buffer zone. Hoodoo Texas thinks the fact that Russia could not really help Assad stay in power like they did earlier in the Civil War, our viewer Hoodoo Texas thinks that's clear proof that Russia is running out of stuff. Thanks for your kind words. Retro AI Unleashed. Yamatna says, I thought the Golan Heights were the buffer zone. There's another buffer. There's a buffer zone that was created in 1974 between the Golan Heights and the rest of Syria, I will say, for those who see either the Syria or the rest of Syria. But Israel has now taken it. Let's see here. One of our viewers said Israel has gotten way bigger this year. Well, if you can, I mean, they are occupying some strips of land in Gaza. Now, let's see. One of our viewers said the grass is not always greener on the other side. Who controls Syria's chemical weapons? Well, I mean, I assume the rebel regime controls them, but there's this whole thing about how I know Israel launched some strikes, I believe, on some weaponry in Syria, and also reportedly, the U.S. is keeping an eye on the chemical weapons. So that's a whole interesting issue. Peanut Brain of the West said Netanyahu made a speech on the buffer zone area that was taken. Maybe I'll show that later. I didn't even know. I appreciate you mentioning that. I don't want to get too down the road of Israel to start this off because it's a bit tangential. I see a short speech, though, from Netanyahu. Hold on. Look at this. Is this in English or not? Let's play it.
The collapse of the...
This is Israeli Prime Minister Netanyahu.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny...
Hold on a moment. I'm having an issue. What is happening? I think I need to refresh something here. I think I need to refresh. Let's see if this works. Hold on. Something froze up on me a little bit. That's not good. I told you there might be some hiccups, technical hiccups. Let's try this again. All right, let's see if this works again. I'm refreshing to try again. Here we go.
This is a historic day for...
I don't know if I know what's going on. This is kind of strange. I haven't seen this before. Hopefully this is weird. It's like a new issue. I'm trying to think if something updated here. It's weird. Try it one more time. I don't know why this is not...
This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its suppression. But it also means we have to take action. One of them is the collapse of the separation of forces agreement.
I'll have to work on fixing this issue. This is a strange, we've done a bunch of streams in Mexico City. I haven't had this, but I'm using kind of a new system here. So I don't know. It's weird. It's kind of a weird thing going on. Very strange. I don't know why that's happening. All right. Well, I'll have to try to figure that out. Yeah, I'm not pausing, but the video is. It's not even the original video. I don't want to get into technically what's going on. I have an idea that I could possibly fix it, but I can't do it while I'm on the air. So we'll have to see. But yeah, things update and all that, and so it's not X. Believe me, it's not X. It's a different thing. Very strange. All right. Anyways, I'm not going to play that. That's concerning, but I gotta wait until after the stream to try and fix it. Might be a pretty simple fix, but it's something I can't fix on the fly. All right. There is one thing I might be able to do. That's all. Something about it playing or something. So odd. I'm going to try it again, but I bet the same thing's going to happen.
This is a historic day for the Middle East.
Yeah, it's, you know what? I'll deal with it. Let me deal with it later. I'll deal with it later. Anyways, you can watch the speech at Netanyahu's on X. I got to deal with it after the broadcast. Not going to worry about it right now. I'm working here. You can see me. Okay, now. By the way, quick thanks to Kenneth Colton for your support. Thanks, Kenneth Colton and Robert Myers. And Beep Beep for your support, who thinks it's a great day for Israel, now the proud owners of Mount Hermon. Thanks, Beep Beep. We'll get back to the Israel stuff. I don't want to make this I don't want to start the stream by doing half an hour of Israel stuff. So we'll get into it. We'll get back to it. Thank you, Beep Beep. Thank you, Nikos Kostianis. Thank you also, Gary Fuller. And Captain Jerry Donnelly. Susan, if you have an issue with the modding, I appreciate it, Susan. I appreciate your support. The chat is for discussing the news about the current news stream. It is not the AFTV complaint chat. I can't read viewer concerns and complaints while I'm doing a news stream. The mods are happy to talk about your questions. If you have questions about the modding, you should first direct those to the mods, because they are the ones doing the modding, and they would be happy to discuss them with you. And the mods will post their contact info where you can reach them in the chat, and I would encourage you to reach out to them if they have any questions. Thank you, Susan Logan, for your support. Thank you also to our mods for being here. Hold on a second here. Okay. Oh, somebody asked for a link to that video in the chat? Sure. Had it right here. Yeah, I just put the Netanyahu video in the chat if you want to see it. Okay, so let me pull something up here. There have been some interesting posts on social media reporting today that this notorious prison that that the rebels took control of, part of the prison is like supposedly still locked, and with like high-tech locking mechanisms, and the rebels can't get into that part of the prison, and they're trying to. I think the rebels actually posted something about that on their social media account, asking for help. Let me see if I can find that for you. But that's a whole thing that's still going on. I need to see if I can find that account. If I can't find you the account, I'll read something. Is this it? Hold on. I might have found it. I'm looking at the Rebel Telegram account right now. No, I don't see it there. We should talk about the prisons for a second. Give me a moment. I'm going to pull something up about that. Okay, do I have this here? Here. As Syria's notorious prisons empty, families search for the missing. Some of you guys probably saw there were videos online posted of prisoners being freed by the rebels, including women. So yes, Sendaya military prison. This is the one we were talking about. Sednaya military prison. So the Washington Post says there was no place more feared in Bashar al-Assad, Syria than Sednaya military prison. By Sunday, the guards had fled. Its doors were flung open, and this fortress of terrified silence was alive with the sounds of parents and children calling out for their missing. Videos on social media showed families streaming toward the prison as they had known as a slaughterhouse, searching for loved ones who had disappeared there, ready at long last to bring them home or to know with finality they were gone. Crazy. Prison guards abandoned their posts from north to south as the rebels advanced. Now Syrians were bracing to learn who among the country's more than 100,000 unaccounted for detainees are still alive. Look at this. The insides of government jails, once known only to those who had suffered or served there, were broadcast on televisions across the country. Videos showed freed inmates, exhausted, stunned, often barefoot, staggering out into the night. At one point, that prison had held more than 20,000 inmates. According to Amnesty International, many were executed or died of neglect. Former inmates said as guards enforced near total silence among the prisoners who slept under bug-infested blankets on stone floors sticky with blood and sweat. In other prisons, videos showed rebel fighters shooting off the locks one by one. The inmates hailed from all over Syria. Some had been missing for decades, and there were tearful reunions in almost every major city. I don't think this article says anything about the fact that they haven't been able to get into some of Sednaya prison yet. Monifix says, imagine the smell. I'll show you what Biden had to say. I'll try to show it to you. There's a little bit of an issue with the video, which I have to try to fix after the broadcast. JB says, this exact situation has played out in history so many times. The players change, but the situation is always the same. I pray we'll see it in North Korea. You know, I did see some people online suggest it reminded them of the fall of Saddam Hussein, certainly, or the fall of Gaddafi in Libya. Those videos that were on social media of regular civilians walking through the presidential palace in Syria certainly reminded me of past events like that. Gringo said they found a few rooms with a bunch of dead bodies. I didn't hear about that, but I'm sorry if I'm not caught up. I was out a bunch of the day. So some of you might have a bunch of info that I don't have. I think Elint News posted something about the prisons a short while ago. Oh, what is this? Here, I can't show it because I don't have the rights to it, but I'm going to post a video link to a video clip from one of the prisons. I think that's actually Sednaya prison. I'm just posting it in the chat right now. Yeah, so Elint News reposted Khaled Iskef, who posted a video showing that the attempts to reach the detainees of Sednaya are still ongoing. How did the rebels get into the prison? Well, I don't know exactly, but I assume it was abandoned by the guards. But from what I understand, part of that prison is still locked and they can't figure out how to get into it. Where did I see that before? Yeah, so Omar Abu Layla, who I'm not familiar with him, but it's somebody who posts a lot about Syria and somebody who a number of people I follow Omar Abu Layla. He had said today that the rebels were issuing a call to former officers and soldiers of the prison, people who worked at the prison, because they were trying to find the codes for the underground electronic doors. Now, I can't confirm that, but I've heard multiple reports of that online. So I'll let you know if I hear anything more about that. Mandu Bruxale says, is Putin next to fall? I haven't even. There's a lot of videos on social media about the prison. Oh, I'm seeing a report online that maybe they've gotten into that part of the prison they couldn't get in before. I'm not sure. It's a little unclear to me. I don't have reliable information on this. Jeffrey Morley said, what ended up being the deal with the airplane last night? We don't know what happened to that plane last night. We can talk about that too. Thank you, Marky B. Yeah, for your support. Thank you, Peanut Brain of the West. Who says SDF could give IDF intel bases and oil fields for IDF military protection and make a big deal with them. Isn't SDF the Kurdish group? Kurdish-led coalition of U.S.-backed ethnic militias. I don't want to get too ahead of myself, but the SDF is the Kurdish-led coalition that has a bunch of land in the northeast of Syria. Thank you to Peanut Brain and Specific Gravity. Who are the rebels? What are their beliefs? Hang on. We'll talk more about this. We'll talk more about it. Thank you, Susan Logan, as well. I appreciate it, Susan Logan. And Milan Draganic. And Nat Love. And Nikos Kostanis. And I remember Brandon Jacobs and Captain Jerry Donnelly. Is Syria going to be nicer to the West now, says Captain Jerry Donnelly? We don't know what exactly is going to happen in Syria. We're going to talk about this. Thanks also Desi for the bits, Mudmore for the bits. And let me just shout out our mods again because they are awesome. I really appreciate them being here. Beth Mythical, Sarah 55, Chromite, Sabrina. Yeah, there's a bunch to talk about here. Also on Twitch, A Moment of Lovely and Surly Dev. And oopsie. Linda Belk and Larry on X. K. Larry Body, Margaret Riley. Paul Anderson, Ronald Egnor over there on Facebook. Thank you. All right. Yonia says BBC has released photos of Assad in Russia. Is that true? I haven't seen them. Maybe a bunch of you have seen them. If I see them, I'll let you know where you can see them. Hang on a moment here. Will this play? I have a video I wanted to show you, but as I mentioned before, I'm not in my normal studio again. I'm still in Mexico City, so I'm doing this on like a makeshift backup studio setup. And as I said, you might expect that some things might not work properly. And so for this stream, I don't know if the video is going to really play right. And I think that's something I can fix after the stream, but I can't fix it during the stream. But at the same time, I can try. So maybe I can play something for you now. I'm really sorry about that. It's just there's only so much, you use a new setup and things are going to happen that you don't anticipate. So you just have to deal with it. Oh, hold on. You just have to deal with it. But all right. So let's see if this works. I don't know if it's going to. Hang on. All right. Okay, so this is from an article. Which is the article I'm showing you? Where'd it go? We don't want that one. We want this one. Syrian rebels topple Assad, who flees to Russia in Mideast shakeup. Now, I do have a video. I see what's happening. It's acting all weird. That's really weird. It's not going to play. I can see what's going on. I bet I know what I have to do. Is there anything I could do to fix this during the broadcast? I don't think there is. I don't think there is. I'm going to have to make an adjustment. It's really strange. I can tell. I can just tell. Actually, you know what? There's something I can try. There's something I can try. If you give me a second. Let me try something else. Give me one moment. Give me one moment. I don't know that this is going to work. I think I might have fixed it. You know what? Let's test it with the Netanyahu. Let's test it with the I got my fingers crossed. Let's test it with the Netanyahu video first. I may have fixed it. That would be good. All right. Last time I tried to play this video, I couldn't play it for you. Netanyahu's video about Syria. Here we go. Is this going to work? I should do a poll on whether this is going to work. Hey, thanks, Nikos. I appreciate that, Nikos. Thank you. All right, let's see if this happens, if this works.
This is a historic day for the Middle East. The collapse of the Assad regime, the tyranny in Damascus, offers great opportunity, but also is fraught with significant dangers. This collapse is a direct result of our forceful action against Hezbollah and Iran, Assad's main supporters. It set off a chain reaction of all those who want to free themselves from this tyranny and its suppression. But it also means we have to take action against possible threats. One of them is the collapse of the Separation of Forces Agreement from 1974 between Israel and Syria. This agreement held for 50 years. Last night it collapsed. The Syrian army abandoned positions. We gave
It was doing so well. I'm really sorry. Well, again, I gotta fix it after the stream. I'll fix it after the stream. Sorry. I'm trying. I really am trying. All right. I can't play the other video either. No, it's nothing about. Trust me, you're not gonna. The suggestions you're making, I appreciate, but they're not gonna work. I know what I need to do. All right. Anyways, I'm really sorry, but this is what happens. Guys, Juan Soto is signing with the Mets, I guess. Just little baseball update. Juan Soto is signing with the Mets, according to Ken Rosenthal, for 15 years. 15 years, $765 million deal. For those who care about baseball. Also, I know the lighting is a little off. It's just I'm not in my studio, so the lighting is just. It's not. I don't have the I don't have the same lighting setup, so it just everything looks different, and it's not easy to fix it. You're not going to get the same look. So, all right, let's go to. So I don't think I can show you that other video either. I'm really annoyed. But what can I do? I got to just deal with it for this stream and then fix it after. Let's see. It's really annoying because I was going to play the Biden video too. Kind of would like to talk about what comes next. What comes next? Who is Abu Mohammed Golani, the leader of the insurgency that toppled Assad? One of the viewers said I should end the stream and try to fix it and then start the stream. I mean, if you want, I can try doing that. I can try ending the stream and fixing it and seeing if that works and then restarting the stream. Because then I can show you the videos. Otherwise, I can't do it. I can't tell. I can't tell what people say. A bunch of people are saying yes. All right, why don't I try it? Why don't I try it? I don't think it'll take that long. And I do like to be able to play the videos. That's the problem. So let me see if I can do it. I know some people might not come back, but at the same time, it's part of trying to do streams from a remote location. All right, so I'm going to do that. I'm going to do it. I'm going to try to fix it and then restart. All right. All right. So give me a couple minutes to try to fix this. Give me a couple minutes to try to fix this. And I will know soon if I can or I can't. All right. So I'm not going to do the big wrap up. I'm gonna wrap this up really quick and see if I can fix it. Hopefully I can fix it and come on again in a couple minutes. All right. So I'll see you in a few minutes. All right. Thanks, guys.